Om Ekadantam Mahakayam Lambodaram Gajananam Vignanashakaram Devam He Rambam Pranamamyam Om Shri Ganganapataye Namaha Bole Shri Gajanan Swami Ki Jai Bole Shri Swaha Mata Ki Jai.
Sitaram, dear viewers, and welcome to SWAHA ViewPoint with His Holiness the Paramachar of SWAHA, Guruji Pandit Hardev Prasad. I am Ronald Chakri. Sitaram Guruji.
Sitaram.
Guruji, it has been quite some time since we've sat together to be with our viewers on SWAHA ViewPoint. And first, let me say that we are, coming to our viewers from the recording from the Gyaan Deepak Kirtan Mandali, SWAHA Gyaan Deepak. Indeed, a very beautiful temple, beautiful place to be, and the first center of SWAHA. So this is, I think, very historic indeed. COVID has led us to the situation where we can, record externally out of the ITV studio. And so while I'm saying that, I want to acknowledge very much the great efforts of Pandit Adesh Maharaj, who is recording this program for us and able to bring this to our viewers. Yes. So Guruji, as I said, it's been a while, and I have been getting several calls. I'm sure you too. Viewers they've been seeing us all the time, but we are now in May 2020. We are in the middle, I hope coming towards the end of the COVID pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic. And many of us, all of us actually, across the world, all human beings have had to make several adjustments and sacrifices and really reassess the way that we go about living life. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have had to put several things on hold. And when I say that, I mean several festivals, several observances, and so on, while observing from home, on the internet, on TV, etc. One of those observances takes place in May and is very dear to our hearts especially, and I speak of Indian Arrival Day. Now, many have been at home, there have been stay-home orders, people have been adjusting, as I said. It is challenging for some, and for some it is not as challenging. Guruji, what is your take on this whole, essentially the whole issue of how we've had to adjust for for the coronavirus, and really, how do we continue to observe life in this new way, especially in light of Indian Arrival Day?
All right, so as we begin, let me also add to the commendation to Pandit Adesh for his technical skills and allowing us the opportunity to record at Gyaan Deepak.
Yes.
Were it not for him, I think it would have been very, very challenging.
Yes.
So I must say special blessings to Pandit Adesh, one of our younger Pandits in SWAHA, a brilliant young mind. Blessings to Pandit Adesh. Now, you also mentioned that we are coming to the end of the pandemic, and I don't agree with that.
Well, I'm hoping that we are.
I don't think we are coming to the end of it yet.
Okay.
All right? It's going to take some time still yet. All right? And when we say coming to an end, I don't know what the timeline might be according to your thinking, whether it's a month or 2 months, but I think it's quite some time yet. And I have made mention otherwise that COVID itself, when you analyze it, I go into Hanuman Chalisa. If you also read Hanuman Sahasranam Path, you see this word COVID is being used to refer to Hanumanji. COVID. So, one part of Hanuman Chalisa says, Kabhi COVID kahi sakai kahate. What is the meaning of COVID? Now, I'm not using the term in English, but from a Hindu perspective, COVID. Now, COVID, Kavi means a poet, and COVID means a learned one, an intelligent one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, I try to take it from this perspective, and if you realize, I try to take everything almost to a deeper level, not on the surface only.
Yep.
So, a learned man, he teaches, educates in various forms, various fashions. Now, COVID, I'm saying, not that it has an identity of its own, it does, but the intent is to teach us lessons, but we have to learn certain lessons because of COVID.
We've had to, yeah.
We have to. So a lot of things have to change, and this is the process I call true learning. There is direct and there is indirect learning. So this is indirect learning. I can sit before you and teach you, or I can various ways indirectly teach you lessons. So we are learning lessons indirectly from COVID.
Okay. Well, and we hope that we continue to learn more.
But we don't know. I have made the point that we're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
You know, but some of us are very, very, to use a local term, hardened. We don't listen. We don't pay attention closely. You know, we treat everything lightly, especially in Trinidad, I would think.
And we're very impatient.
We take everything for granted. You know, God is a Trini, we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so far we are fortunate not to have more cases than we have,
Yeah.
but you don't let your guard down. Well, look what is happening worldwide, right? United States, Brazil, all these people know. Brazil is almost now the second, right? Thousands have died there. Okay, you're taking things for granted. So what I am saying, that COVID is teaching us to change our attitudes, our way, our approach to life, how we do things. And many would be aware that over the years I have been stressing from a Hindu perspective how we on SWAHA enlighten ritualism, yes, but we are bringing about certain adaptations, adjustments based upon time, place, and circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, Hinduism could survive anywhere, under any circumstance. But the thing is that, you know, most of us, we think within a box,
Yeah.
especially the spiritual leaders. And the people, they grow up thinking in a certain way. It's difficult to get them to think otherwise. But as teachers, what we need to do? Not teach them to think differently. And this is where, you know, the spiritual leaders come in. They bring about a change in thinking.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying, you don't change the scenery, you change the vision.
Yeah.
Now, what I interpret that to mean, the psychological state, the psyche has to change. This is what learning is all about. So COVID itself, because of the circumstances, it creates fear. It brings about separation, so many things. People living in great fear. So that the psyche is now changing. And sometimes these external factors are very, very much instrumental and necessary to bring about internal change.
Yeah.
So COVID itself, whereas brings about a lot of losses and so on, and pain and whatever, is also, if we look at it in a positive sense, it brings about the change that man needs to make his life relevant. You know, I am seeing man himself is his own enemy.
Yeah.
Look at what has been happening to the environment. Delhi, many years ago, not so, even last year, you know, pollution. And yet there are so many people with lung problems. I was seeing recently from Kathmandu, I think it is, in Nepal. There you can see Mount Everest,
Yeah.
200 kilometers away, very, very clearly.
And the Himalayas as well, I believe.
Well, the
Yeah.
Mount Everest is in Himalaya,
Yeah, yeah.
Himalayan mountain. You see it very, very clearly, 200 kilometers away. Before that was not so.
Yeah, it's true.
So I look at that also from another perspective, that, you know, COVID itself brings about a change. That change itself brings about clarity of vision for those who are prepared to take it in the right way. But you have to remove the pollution, the negativities that cloud our mind because of what has been happening over the years.
Yeah.
Materialism, which has led, well, actually it goes back to Gyaan, ignorance.
Yeah.
We are told that basically there are 5 mental afflictions we all suffer from. The first is Gyaan, ignorance. Then there is asmita, ego. Then there is rag and dvesh, attachment and aversion. Then asmita, fear of death. Look and see what is happening right now. Many people in ignorance, very egoistic. Nothing could happen to me. I am this, I am that. Check some of the world leaders right now. Some believe it's an international conspiracy. Some believe it will go away for itself, whatever.
And some wish they weren't leaders at this point. Yeah.
Well,
They're afraid.
if they wish they weren't
Yeah.
leaders, I mean, that's good for them. It means they don't have the capacity to handle this.
Yeah.
But to turn a blind eye to it, like you know, the ostrich burying his head in the sand,
Yeah.
that is the height of ignorance.
Yeah.
That ignorance is because of ego. It leads to ego.
Yeah.
I. And I wanted so, and I wanted so. And therefore, this is the attachment and the aversion.
Yeah.
Right now, you have that problem where people say, open up. Some say, no, keep the lockdown. The leaders say, open up because of, you know, financial constraints, etc. Others say, lives, different ideas. But it all goes to this point, rag and dvesh, attachment, aversion. And now, COVID itself creates fear of death. Fear of death. So we suffer from these 5. But the root of the last 4 is Gyaan, ignorance. That is the root of all our problems. An absence of wisdom, absence of spirituality. Now man, because of materialism, was rushing headlong into this direction. Everything had been measured in terms of dollars and cents.
Yeah.
I've been saying on this program many, many times, over and over, plus all of our outreach programs otherwise, what is wrong, what is absent is spirituality. Man has strayed away from spirituality. And there is something that has to be, has to take place to push us back to spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I speak of the pollution, this is what I mean. The internal negativities based upon ego, ignorance, the I-ness, attachment, aversion, the greed, all these negative things that cloud mankind. And watch and see what is happening right now, Ronald. You will see even hampers have been given out. There are those who already receive. There are those who go back and take more. They could not care for anybody else. Selfishness is the order of the day.
Yes.
Even though people are still suffering. They are exposed to this. But greed is there.
Yeah.
Corruption is there.
Yeah.
Lying is there. All negativities are still there. People still are not learning the lessons.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate because, as I said, tremendous adjustments have had to be made, and people are, I think there's a general mindset that, okay, there's this adjustment for now, and we will go back to normal.
But this is the point. You see, people think that, let me just hold on to this until things get better.
Yeah.
What I am saying, things are not going to get better unless we change.
Yeah.
If it's not COVID, there's something else is going to come back to affect us.
Yeah.
But man has to learn his lesson.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he will self-destruct.
Yes.
So this situation right now calls for a lot of introspection.
Yeah.
Come back to the point that you asked. We have been saying our pujas have to be different. I've been hearing also and reading where certain spiritual leaders in other countries, they couldn't care less. We are opening up. God will take care of this. A lot of them are opening up because collection. It's a financial thing.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't people stay home and pray?
Yeah.
If you have been teaching people to pray, you can pray anywhere. God is anywhere and everywhere. Right? But I am saying, or I have said many times, society is like a house, very, very beautifully painted but termite ridden.
Yeah.
We go to church, we go to temple, we go to mosque. Wherever we go, we say we pray, we clap, we sing, leap of faith. And when we leave there, and we go outside, back to square one.
Yes, and spirituality is something that should have gone with us or be with us all the time.
Religiousness
Yeah.
is what people hold on to,
Hold
not
on to,
spirituality.
Yeah.
And here, we are being pushed to spirituality,
Yeah.
inner spirit, divine qualities, truth, honesty, straightforwardness, purity, all the wonderful qualities that Gita speaks about, all scriptures speak about. And until we learn these lessons, we're going to have problems. Now, where we are concerned, all our practices, and the religious people need to pay attention to this. I call them spiritual leaders. Let's pay attention.
Yeah.
You have to get to the principle. You have to get to the spirituality, not the physical side of it only. And until we reach there, we're going to have problems. Now, Hinduism tells us we can make these adjustments, adaptations, time, place, and circumstances. So we are told, stay inside. We can pray. We have Mansik, Vachik, Upansu, 3 different ways of puja. We discussed all these things already. Where the Indian Arrival Day is concerned, what is the inner part of Indian Arrival Day, inner meaning? I've been saying also, people do Srar Karam.
Yeah.
So Pinda is all over the place. Right? You do all kind of things. You do it for Papa, you do it for Mama. Mama and Papa ever ask you to do that? What is the inner meaning of that? I'm not saying don't do it. What is the inner meaning of that? The ancestors have passed on to us a body of principles, laws, practices, values that identify who we are and what we are. This true celebration, the true repayment of this debt of gratitude to the ancestors is the maintenance of these principles on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Not once a year when Indian Arrival Day comes by, then you pull out the ukri, you pull out the musal, you pull out this, you pull out that, you try to sing this song, try to sing that song, and the rest of the year, all these things are dead for you.
Yeah.
To me, that is hypocritical.
And this is something you've been saying for all these years anyway.
So I'm just repeating it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now what is happening? This is going to continue, and if we don't learn the lesson, more things are going to happen. We have to become, not talk. People talk only. ostentatious, create impressions, right? But to become, live the life is where the problem is. We are told life is like a relay. Each, generation is like running one leg of that race.
Yeah.
And each leg passes on the baton to the next. This is our race right now, our leg. What we need to do, enhance if possible. First, maintain. Maintain as best as possible, enhance wherever possible. All the principles, practices, and so on. Especially the practices.
Yeah.
Enhance principles. They're already there.
Yeah.
But the practices, pass on to the next generation. And that is what, to me, Pitra Karam, Indian Arrival Day celebrations, all these things tie in. The sacrifices of the ancestors. This is what it means. Otherwise, it is downright hypocritical to say we're celebrating. And to be honest with you, I don't have the slightest bit of disappointment that we can't go and celebrate in a big way. Because analyze closely. In the past, the focus was, who celebration bigger?
Yeah.
Who get more money?
Who
Who this? Who that? Who the next? And when everything finished, you destroy the very same principles and values the ancestors passed on to you. This may sound very critical.
Yeah.
But you see, in Gyaan Deepak Kirtan Mandali, here we have Gyaan. Gyaan.
Yes.
We say what we have to say.
Yes.
Maybe that, that power is with me right now.
Yes.
Humility, perseverance, devotion. Do things with the right attitude.
Yes.
Not for show.
Yes.
Not for show. And I stand by that no matter where I go. So this year, Indian Arrival Day, no gallerying, so to speak. Once a year, people put on little shalwar and so on, little sari and then put on a kurta and they maintain the culture. What happens for the rest of the year?
Yes.
This is my question.
Yes.
So now you're forced to stay inside. Adapt, adjust your way of celebration. And if you don't understand, if I'm inside of you to really, really maintain your right principles, values, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue until you learn it.
Yes.
So this is how I see it, Ronald.
Well, but Guruji, thank you for that explanation, because I think, a lot of time we talk the talk. Now we have to walk the walk as well. We say that, we have arrived and we are a people and all these sorts of things. We identify with a certain thing. And as you've always been saying and you reiterated, it comes from within. Display that from within. It doesn't have to be a grand celebration. It doesn't have to be any of the big functions because we can't have it. We can't. We simply
At this
can't.
point in time.
At this point in time.
But there's nothing wrong in having it.
Yeah.
Don't feel I'm condemning it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, to have it, and that's the end of it, for ostentation.
Yeah.
For just demonstrative purposes, to show.
Yes.
That is not good enough.
Yes.
Living it on a daily basis, right? I am who I am because of my ancestors. I owe them an eternal debt of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I must live my life on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense I live that life only when a camera is on me. When the newspaper, the media is there. No. Whether people look at me, they don't look at me. Whether I am, projected or not.
Yeah.
I do the right thing in life. I live it. This is why I said, I become. And if I can become, then become what I'm supposed to be, who I'm supposed to be. Hold on to my roots, so to speak. I have a sense of eternal gratification. Sanatan. Sanatan, I've been explaining what Sanatan Dharma means.
Mm-hmm.
Sanatan means eternal. Dharma, religion, practices, values. If I maintain these practices in you, I become Sanatan. Yes. I become eternal.
Yeah.
So this is what all people have to understand.
Yes, and again, as I mentioned before, I believe the question was, how do we celebrate an Arrival Day? We're missing out with this, with that, with the other. We can't go anywhere. We have to stay home and all of that. This is the essence of what you're saying. It comes from within.
But can celebrate home.
Yes.
One of the important principles of our ancestors projected family life.
Yep.
Family life. So if you really want to maintain that, go back home to the home base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, husband, wife, children, grandchildren, whoever you are, sit together, pray together, do something together as a family. Mm-hmm. You can do it in your home.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, and if you look at it, the family unit is the basic unit in society.
Yeah.
When family unit disintegrates, society disintegrates.
Yeah.
Our ancestors believed in family, core value, core principles. So you notice what's happened? COVID is saying, back home,
Stay home.
stay home. Core value,
Yes.
family values.
Yes.
So don't tell me you can't celebrate. You can more than celebrate. You go back to the base,
Yes.
right to the home base and celebrate.
Yes.
And you know what? That relationship between husband and wife, siblings, parents and children, extended family, relationships. Plenty of people have good relationship with friends, but not with their own family.
Yeah.
What is happening right now, because of the pressures, a lot of domestic violence is taking place.
Quite a lot.
You know why? People can't bond with their own family.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't do that, your life is a failure. What is the use of bonding with a friend outside, liming and drinking, becoming drunk on the outside, and you can't bond with your own consort home, your own children? What manner of man are you? What manner of person are you? What values are you maintaining? What are you celebrating? Have you arrived?
Yes.
I think you have disappeared. You follow?
Yes.
So, if you look at it from a different perspective,
Yes.
we do things just for mental gratification.
Yes.
And I do not believe in that internal reason for doing things. And if the opportunity presents itself to celebrate in a bigger way, you do it. But never ever lose sight of what the inner meaning really is.
Yes.
So, what we are being taught here, hey man, celebrate, yes, a time will come when you will celebrate. But you will have to undo adjustments, change the psyche.
Yes.
Get back to the root cause of the celebration. Start with the family.
Yeah.
How could you go wrong?
Yes, and Guruji, I think also one of the I think the lessons coming out of the whole coronavirus, the whole pandemic, is many people have had to appreciate things that they once took for granted. Freedoms, certain freedoms. A simple thing as getting doubles, because for a long time those things were not available. Food and all of that, restaurant food, takeout and all of that wasn't available, and so we took a lot of things and we took a lot of people for granted. And again, as you're saying, the values that we have will carry us through.
Well, it's a good thing because, some people may not know how the wife's food will taste.
Yeah,
Some may not even know the husband could also cook.
yeah,
Yeah. All these things, put them together, put everything
Yes.
together home.
Yes.
What losses are there?
yes,
And talking about that, I don't want to condemn people's food and so on, whatever else. Right? But personally, I believe eating home is wonderful.
Yes.
A man is a product of his thoughts.
yes,
The thoughts a person has to a great extent dependent upon the food he eats. And food carries with it vibrations. Food has 6 faults, Ronald. 6 faults. So when you eat outside, a lot of faults are transmitted to food. One of the reasons for the behavioral patterns displayed many times could be the food that people eat.
yeah,
Yeah? That's a different topic.
yes,
A different topic.
yes,
You see? Now if you look at it, look at how many things positive here.
yeah,
When we say we go to a puja, from a Hindu perspective, when people cook in pujas and so on, and they do havan first before people eat,
yes.
most times when you go and buy something in a restaurant, do you pray before you eat?
Most people don't.
You don't have time to pray, man.
Yeah. It's not
From
in
the
your
time you see it,
thoughts.
gobble along.
It's not in your thoughts. Yeah.
No,
it's a
gobble
different
it down.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all the negativities, you partake of that.
Yes.
It affects your thinking,
Yes.
the whole attitude. And I am saying, why you think the sages don't go and eat all over the place and and the kind of foods that people eat? Why? Food definitely influences man's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people, so you see, that part of it is more merely socialization. Right? I don't want to go so far to say people too lazy to cook. That is not my,
But they've had no choice during the last few weeks anyway, the last few months anyway.
yeah. But it's not my judgment call, but I think most people like to go out and eat. They've changed an environment and so on and so forth. You see, this is what we keep saying. You're changing the scenery. You're not changing the psyche, the
yeah,
vision.
yeah.
You see? To be honest with you, I cannot see, all the lives that have been lost and so on and so forth, we have to sympathize. But every cloud has a silver lining. We have to look at this whole situation and see. And positive definitely are going to come out of it. That divine master is not a vindictive master. We must understand that. Many religions say God will punish you. Hinduism doesn't say that.
Yeah.
You punish yourself. Your karma's cause.
Yes.
Whatever happens to you.
Yes.
So what we are saying, the whole circumstance, if man takes a step or two backwards, it's like you're driving, Ronald, and you hit the highway. No police around. 80, 90. What is the speed limit? 50. Yeah. Miles per hour. Well, now put a speed bump on your road. You have to slow down.
Yes.
And what you'll realize, that slowing down process alone, there have been many things in the past that you're speeding so much you didn't see, that today Now you're slowing down. You realize, hey, I didn't see that before. I didn't see that before.
Yes.
I didn't see that before.
Yes.
Sometimes the slowing down process.
Stop and smell the roses, as they say.
Yeah. The slowing down process helps us to take stock of where we are.
Yeah.
And help us to appreciate life in a better way.
Yeah.
This is the key to it.
Yes.
And if people do not understand that, you're going to go through real problems. There'll be frustration, there'll be desperation, all kinds of negativities. At the end of it all, you'll be forced to readjust. Unless you readjust and adapt to these circumstances, we are going to continue to suffer. So we need to make adjustments. The quicker we learn our lessons, the quicker the change will come.
Yes.
The negativities will go away. And if it's not COVID, it's something else.
Yes.
Something is going to happen time and again to teach man lessons. It is God's grace upon us
Yes.
to help us. Man, check yourself.
Yes.
I'm giving you a chance.
Yes.
Correct yourself, man. I'm giving you a chance. You are my special creation. Don't destroy yourself. Don't self-destruct.
I once questioned, Guruji, if we didn't learn from COVID, then I don't know when we will learn and how we will learn and through what we will learn.
We will learn. If not COVID, something worse. We will learn.
Yes.
We will learn.
We have to.
Yeah, the teacher finds a way to teach.
Yes.
The good teacher, the excellent teacher. He doesn't say the student is bad.
Yes.
He finds a methodology, a strategy to get the child to learn, to take him from point A to point B. And that divine is the divine teacher.
Yeah.
And we have special children. Just that sometimes we have strayed away from him. We need to get back to that point of spirituality.
Guruji, thank you very much for taking the time and making the accommodations to be able to have this edition of SWAHA Viewpoint and to present it to our viewers. So we want to thank you very much for that. And I'm sure everybody's very happy to have you back.
I hope so.
Yes, very happy to
I
have you
hope
back
so.
with the perspectives that you give that benefit society. And I say society, not just Hindus alone, general society, because we have a wide viewership. So thank you very much. And again, special thanks to Pandit Adish Maharaj for making this possible. Viewers, we want to thank you for joining with us. All our contact information remains the same. So we want to invite you to keep following all the regulations of the Ministry of Health and the government. Keep staying safe and staying sane during this time. All the best. Until next time, Sitaram.